All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
The Promised Neverland, Season 2, Episode 4. Oh boy.
Okay,
so,
William Minerva on the phone.
Yep. And they are in a place that could theoretically support them just fine, but at the same time, there are some aspects of it that seem just a wee bit sketch.
Yeah, so this place definitely feels like a base that was constructed for something not as an escape place just for, kids who ran away from farms.
Nope. Feels like an underground farm.
Feels like an old underground farm, yeah.
With an easy access point for harvesting in that mysterious dark hole in the wall.
Yep.
And help.
But
it's odd.
Yeah, there's a couple mystery elements that could be a big focus of discovery, basically.
Right. And based on what William Minerva says to them when he's on the phone, we might get a better sense of whether we can actually trust the guy. Because
I would say so far we can trust him, but this phone call could change everything.
Yeah.
Because the phone call also came now, which I'm guessing is based on some kind of trigger that
when they put the pen into the key thing or whatever.
Yeah, probably.
Yep, probably.
Yeah. I would guess thus far that the big focus is probably just going to be the info that William Minerva gives.
Probably.
But
I don't think so.
The stuff that we got with Sanju and saying that he kind of wants them to survive out there.
So that he can eat their children.
Yeah. Procreate and build a little community, a colony.
I only eat organic.
Right. That's a
Lovely.
bit ambitious, but it also says a couple things about, the general continent with regards to demons is that he thinks that's going to work.
Right.
Or at the very least, he's willing to risk it working. Because if that's the case, then he doesn't think that they could be a threat to the demons as a whole. But he also doesn't think that those same demons are then going to get that whole community of them back. So it could be that this continent is so big and so vast that there's no way that the demons will find them.
Yeah, and they are in a nice underground bunker now, so who knows?
Yeah.
Just keep typing in those numbers every 108 minutes. But, I'm excited to see how this goes.
Yeah, me too. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. Okay.
All right.
I understand now a little bit of what they were saying, that this episode's, this season's, got some stuff there. We'll get into that. We'll get into that in a little bit. But
there was a lot of good stuff.
There was a lot of good stuff this episode.
Yeah.
Isabella, a really cool way to bring her back in a way that makes it feel like the demons really are in control here.
Right, because the notion of giving, since we got the soldiers in this episode and we're seeing more instances of humans working for the demons, right, and in different ways, the idea of offering, freedom, here you go, along with whatever the extra bit was, which could totally have been like, we'll give you Ray or her whatever, who knows? Or
maybe there's someone or something else that she needs that's not at all connected to those kids.
Sure, right.
But
so we saw the kids starting to get complacent in the shelter.
Yep,
totally get that, right?
They were thinking about sweet foods and little basic things.
Right.
So
leaving the surveillance room unattended. Like the
they dropped the ball.
They dropped the ball.
So they pay for it. They might have had a little bit of advanced warning, even though those soldiers looked probably like they would be pretty hard to detect. Even though it was a flat, open desert out there.
Right.
Which means they probably would have spotted
They probably would have seen something.
But they had all the exits covered.
Yep.
So showing pretty good competence on their part.
They thought they did.
Yes, they thought they did.
And I liked the idea, little things of the kids being like, no, we play around here all the time. We've got this place memorized. It's like, yep, totally get that. I buy it, and it's something that they would want to know if they're in this shelter and they saw a room with people, scribbling in blood or whatever that was, help me, and, and all that. They would want to be aware of all the ways out,
Yeah.
But then we also had the whole bit of them finding the fish slug thing or whatever it is, and that was fun. It was goofy,
hilarious.
and the two gremlins, I don't know, I forget their names, but
it's okay.
They were entertaining, and I want to see more of them.
Yeah, they've been around since the beginning, and they were some of the ones to be like, oh, wait, what's going on? You know, but the way that they basically set up this whole thing to where, okay, now that the kids are in a situation where they're actually in danger here, oh, well, no, actually none of them are really capable enough at all to, handle themselves. So
right.
It's just going to come down to, Dawn, Emma, Ray, Gilda.
Norman,
Well, Gilda was able to have the sense of mind to be like, wait, guys, we don't even have our full number here.
Yeah,
they could have panicked and ran, and then way later
be like, shit.
Yeah, we didn't get everyone.
Yep.
Because it's in
totally
the dark
could have
and
happened.
Everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
William
Minerva's dead.
William Minerva's dead. I really like that because it's something where one of the things that makes this show and the conflict of it so engaging, I feel like, is how hopeless things are. Well, how hopeless things feel from the concept, right? You've got a bunch of kids in a world of demons and things like that. They need to survive. That you can't do that without outside help. And what little outside help they got, right? Or no, this was substantial outside help from Minerva. So I like the fact that it ended up getting cut off, right? Both by the demons finding out that they were there and that Minerva is dead, right? So he did the best he could. He left a recorded message and things like that.
And we don't know how long ago that was.
Nope. And quite frankly,
there's no way of knowing.
And quite frankly, yes, the benefit of having this place as a base is kind of too good that they kind of had to
be true.
It's too good to be true, but it's also so good that they kind of have to risk it, because after getting that recording and seeing the help and all that stuff, I would have been tempted to just be like, we should just go somewhere else, anywhere else, because this is a place that was probably maybe discovered, and then it's only a matter of time before they come here.
That was the first mistake, is that once the recording was discovered, basically, and then they connected the dots essentially with the help, they shouldn't have stayed here any longer. They should have gathered up all the resources that they could, taken the future kind of info bit there, and left immediately. Now, problem is that they have their lofty goal of being able to save all the other kids.
Right.
That is less and less becoming a likelihood the more and more they do this. What might make more sense, though, is that if they go and find out how they can essentially cross to the other side, if the human side is willing to potentially risk a war with the demons in order to rescue all the kids over here.
Sure.
And then they come back with reinforcements.
Yes. One of the things, though, that so there were a few things that happened in this episode that made me curious about the state of the world.
Yeah,
because
a couple things.
If the split happened 1,000 years ago,
right?
That's the treaty, and the demons were around for a long time before then,
right?
And there are basically no humans that are not in farms, right? And now we see that there's these SWAT team humans or whatever. Okay, but the fact that the payphone said 50 cents or whatever for local calls, that surprised me a bit.
Yeah, that really surprised me
because
too.
I would expect that the whole currency would be different because the demons run this place, like that. The whole thing would be very, very different, right?
Yeah.
So that's curious.
Yeah, I would assume what it is that there are a lot more humans than the kids would like to, know about, really, that are on the demon side.
And that is something that I would be really excited to see because that's a very interesting dynamic, power dynamic, conflict, and all that stuff.
That's why no demons were here in this squad.
Right,
they just sent a bunch of humans, and they're like, oh, if these humans die, that's fine. Right. They're not sectional.
The secondary adults, the secondary thing that stood out to me is that in this land where you have ethereal floating creatures and things like that, very, very sort of alien and not what you would expect from Earth. The people that you send to round up the kids still have guns that fire bullets,
weapons.
That's
There's a couple world building things that feel a little bit wonky
that feel a bit wonky, especially given the fact, I guess we can just get into it now, that they're trying to get these kids alive. They send all of what, 6 guys.
There were.
I mean, there were more
than 6.
And yes, you want to get all of the choke points and things like that. But the fact
they're
that
split up a bit,
right? But the fact that the guns were never once fired at the kids,
nope,
not even like missing or anything. They just had them pointed at them and then just didn't pull the trigger ever.
Yeah.
And now the not pulling the trigger makes sense from the standpoint that they don't want to hurt these kids because they are prime, material and all that
why
stuff.
Are they armed with
but
bullets?
then why the hell do they have bullets?
Yeah.
Like
if you have automatic weapons that can fire like that, then you have the technology to put something in there that won't harm the kids.
At the very least, rubber bullets or something. Beanbag shotguns or something.
This does not pass the
sniff
sniff test, basically.
It does not.
So this is my first kind of thing I will say that I understand some of the outcry so far is that this smells of a bit of some bullshit.
Right. Watch, it's something actually completely different. It's not even this stuff.
I'm guessing it probably will be. But what I think is rather interesting here is that I have more of a deal with the thing of that the kids were immediately caught, which I think makes sense here. Now,
sure.
One of the things that is important about the kids is not necessarily that they're just recovered alive, but remember, it's the brains. So all they would really have to do if they had real bullets is just take a kid, put their foot on its head and be like, I'm going to shoot his hand. I'm going to shoot his foot.
Yeah.
And then throw him over my back.
Right.
And be like, yeah.
It'll take a while for you to die.
Yeah. They gave us a number of acceptable losses. 1.
Right. Or do you
want us to hurt your friend, or do you
a
want
range
to
of
come
acceptable
quietly?
states?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That would make sense. But the fact that they got so lucky that this big creature thing came through and attacked the soldiers, which, to be fair, the soldiers started shooting at it,
which makes sense. And
so
and that is something
intelligent enough to determine them the biggest threat.
And from the perspective of the soldiers, knowing that there's monsters out there, having guns to deal with the monsters, that makes sense,
a lot of sense.
Even though we've seen that they really don't do much.
Well, actually,
now granted, this is potentially a special, really big one and whatnot, right? So granted.
Well, they could. The arrow hit the eye.
That was also something that felt really weird. The arrow hit the eye.
Morphed and stuff.
It created like a little explosion or something.
Chain reaction
within the. Yeah, and it's like, okay, maybe that's just something, a way that this demon is different. Who knows?
Possibly, and they could have never encountered it before. Like the part that I would say more makes that a little bit odd is that if they have guns and they're soldiers, that means they're trained enough to where they would probably know that if this thing attacked them, shoot it in the eyes.
Sure.
And guns are a lot more accurate
than bows and arrows. Yeah.
So, right now, what I feel like happened was that they needed to be kicked out of this base here.
Right.
And
that was done effectively, but there were no consequences other than the fact that we're back to how we were at the beginning of the season.
So the plot kind of writing here with this is really weak.
Also, this is the other thing that's weird.
Yeah.
If these kids are so valuable, I get that they would be using humans to go in and get them and things like that, but wouldn't they have demons outside on standby? If they know that they're going to be here,
that's the thing, Jacob.
It's possible that they didn't know that they were here, and they just sent people out here to go
check and see what happened.
To go check and see, and
something tripped.
Right, exactly.
And they're like, go check it out.
Right, or we found this place in the past. Send a team out there just in case they're there. Now they use.
It takes time, also.
It takes time, and they used big ol' explosions. So who knows what the situation is there?
Yeah.
But
the other thing that I think needs to be brought up, and this could be something that's a little bit of an issue. This continent has to be big. Has to be big. There's all different kinds of biome environment stuff thus far, desert and big forest and stuff. So let's assume at the very least that if the demons do have a localized, big centralized population, that it gets lesser and lesser the farther away you are from that place. And I would assume that the farms are pretty close to that, centralized bit of population. However, in a previous episode, their demons were slaughtered by someone. They don't know necessarily that it was Sanju, but Sanju killed them. So it might also be a thing of where they're like, whoa. The
Send in
demons
the
might...
expendable people.
Well, no. The demons might be dealing with a bigger problem.
Oh, sure.
And that's Sanju.
Well, and one of the other things that we still don't
here.
realize is how many demons are there. Because in the first episode, it communicated to me that the demons were actually pretty numerous because there were demons just doing the, oh yeah, we handle the truck, you know, like, and loading up the bodies and stuff, and we're peons, and no,
There's echelons.
You can't afford to eat, you know, this human, right?
Right. There's a very clear hierarchy of sorts.
Yeah, which makes me think that that the humans are not necessarily wanting for numbers. This communicated to me something a bit different.
Yeah.
Also, one other thing to bring up: they're in a big empty wasteland. How the hell did the soldiers get here? They've got to have trucks or choppers or something. And if that's the case, then chasing down the kids, assuming that there are more soldiers than just the 6 or 4 or 5 or whatever we saw got eaten.
I think it's a stealth thing where if they knew that the kids should have the ability to do reconnaissance here,
that
they park their jeeps like, you know,
right, but
1,000 feet away.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's pretty logical.
Yes, but still the idea that they would have some vehicle here that even if they were, 5 miles away, it wouldn't really matter much against the kids unless they manage to get into the woods, and then at that point it's the, we can't take the vehicles in there kind of a thing. Because the trees or whatever, like it doesn't work. But yeah, that was the other thing. Not just the fact that they had automatic weapons and stuff, but this felt like people that came from a human civilization, like a human society.
There has to be one, right?
Well,
that's where the moms and dads have to come from.
Well, sure, but that could just be like facilities and things like that. Like this. I don't know.
Yeah, but again, there has to be some kind of human group that is okay with being moms and dads. Therefore, they have to have some element of human groups that watches the humans that are being moms and dads so that they don't end up rebelling in any way.
Yeah.
It's the whole agriculture ecosystem. You need to have a whole bunch of people watching.
Yep. And so far there hasn't been much crossover as far as like culture and technology that we've seen from the humans to the demons. So the humans very much feel like it's the, we have our own separate way of doing things. Like with the moms, there's this element of like mystery and like specialized training and stuff that made me not sure what their environment was. Like specialized training, but what's beyond that, right?
Yeah.
The fact that a lot of demons, use swords and things like that, it's like, okay, cool. But then the humans still use their guns, and however they got here probably wasn't on some kind of demon horseback or whatever, right? So yeah, I'm curious to see how that stuff ends up getting opened up a bit more. But the fact that we have Isabella back in the story, I'm really excited to see where that goes because she's a very interesting character.
Yeah, she's one of the most interesting characters in the show, along with Emma, Ray, and Norman. Hopefully, him being alive.
Norman's still alive.
Norman's definitely alive.
Yeah.
With Isabella, though, being offered not just freedom with regards to the device being taken out, but something being whispered to her, I do think that it's potentially something to do with Ray. Just because they have to know that that's her kid.
Yep.
But if it's something else, and it genuinely surprised her,
like it brought about a full shift in her
she's like,
demeanor
okay,
and personality.
I'm all in now.
Like, all right,
it's something that's better than freedom.
Yeah,
and that
makes me think it's for someone else, right? It's because there's freedom for her, right? Cool, but I mean, what would she do? It's a pretty cruel world out there, right? She was happy being a mom in just the farm.
So one of the things I think that it is that you can't rule humans by oppression only.
Right, because otherwise they'll rebel.
Yeah. You have to offer them something as well. So in this case, I'll bet you that these soldiers are also potentially ones who might have their freedom, but their exchange is that they end up having to deal...
Indentured servitude kind of a thing.
Exactly. So what it could be is that they're offering freedom to Ray or to any number of people, but it's that there's something that's called. Like, you get to go to...
Honorary Marleyan.
Exactly. You
pretend,
you're a protected human.
Right.
Or something. Or they'll inject you with something that won't make you tasty to demons, or they'll make you stink to demons.
Sure.
So that even when you're walking out in the wild, like, you won't get attacked or something.
Knows,
like there's all kinds of things that could be attached to, but the idea that it's a thing above freedom sets a goal in mind for the people that they're trying to maybe free in the farms that goes beyond just getting them out of the farms. So I want this to be foreshadowing for a way in which they have to gain allies with the humans that are in in demon society with the demons and stuff. And then it becomes this awkward, like, push and pull on those relationships.
Like, because I think I've made the connection point a few times before in this series, but it feels very sort of Underground Railroad, right? Where they're trying to like Harriet Tubman the kids out,
Except there is no Underground Railroad.
There is no Underground Railroad, and
on their own.
Right, they're just on their own, and the base that they had here could have potentially been the start of something like that, right?
Yeah, if William Minerva was here,
right? If William Minerva was here, right? If William Minerva was still alive, or I mean, he could theoretically still be, but if he was still out there and he was in the demon-approved human society, then they could use that to try and get people out. And there could even be demons that were on their side, right? People, well, maybe not necessarily like Sanju, but, there could be people that would help them, right? And then that would be a way that they could actually achieve the bigger goal of not just freeing themselves, but going back and getting Phil, going to the other farms and getting those kids, because they won't. Even if they did manage to get to the human side of things, they won't stay there knowing that there's a bunch of kids over here, right?
True.
They wouldn't be able to bear that on their conscience. So, yeah.
I read the stuff that was in the journal that they picked up, and it was not really anything more than just, I'm going here, don't give up, all that stuff. I can't stand this any longer. But I did say I'm going to the demon world. So there's a possibility that William Minerva might be someone who's a illegal, like, border crosser, basically, in that what he's done might have potentially been war igniting, like he broke the rule. But what that might insinuate is that the dark part of this story is that the humans on the other side know exactly what's going on. And they do nothing.
Right. And I think that's part of the point, is that the treaty was originally created as we'll let you keep some humans, and then
they know
they know in general that it's happening, but but
how specific,
right? Is it something where it's like there's people even on the other side of the wall that are like, oh, you're here, great, let's take you to a place where we'll all be fine, all right, ship them back,
right?
And then it's the
exactly.
like, okay, we helped you do your work, give us some kickback or whatever, because we're helping to keep our end of the treaty going strong,
Yeah. It just seems like there's a possibility that William Minerva could have come from the other side. He knew what was going on, and that's why he felt guilty and came over here. Or William Minerva is one of those people that's in demon society in general, and that's how he was able to smuggle the books in there.
Right, because we knew that he was connected to the farms in some way at some point.
Right.
We just don't know how necessarily.
Yeah. And given that he was the one that kind of put the clues into the books and stuff, I think he's been dead for a while. So it's something that where the books would have been something that, were there for quite a bit.
Right. The effects of what he did are still out there. The demons necessarily can't figure all that out. But they knew that, at some point, what was going on in the base went tits up, right? Like it was discovered. It all went to hell in a handbasket. The demons didn't need to find this base, I'm guessing. But, yeah.
All in all, this is a slight downward trend for Promised Neverland Season 2. Isabella is a nice, hopeful little bit about where they could take the story for character-based kind of
making it personal conflict.
Yeah.
But there's more than a bit of plot armor that I'm feeling for these kids now.
Yes, exactly. And that was one of the terrifying things about Season 1, was that anyone could be shipped out if Mom decided to change the schedule.
Right.
Right now, the kids are...
It's not even that the humans have Stormtrooper aim. They just...
Don't shoot.
And that whole thing we already talked about.
Yeah, we already talked about that.
Yeah.
But, okay, Episode 4, gotcha. We have now the location to where we can go in order to get to the other side.
Hopefully.
If they panic here and realize that we can't do anything now, they might go there straight away and then end up basically finding a way to maybe get reinforcements. build some kind of alliance or something. Well, we'll see.
And it looked super far away, so then they'd have to do the actual trek over there with whatever supplies they managed to scrounge from the base before they left.
Exactly. So
yeah.
Y'all... Thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general. Also, be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.